Your boss gives you lingerie jockeys for your birthday as a gift. You have never been intimate with them before. Do you accept it and keep quiet, or tell them to return it as it's completely inappropriate? Okay, spiciness. Let's start with Ant.
Yeah, I actually work in HR. I think that,
And you'll need to re-enter as well. I'm sorry. It's quite a common thing nowadays on Altspace, but you'll get your chance immediately. Then we have, let's go to Brad, and then we'll get back to Ant. If I can find, just 1 second. All right, Brad, just raise your hand because I can't seem to find you. Or B-Rad. Oh, there you are. All right, so megaphone is yours. Feel free to speak or pass.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay. I would say the logical and most important thing to do would be to not accept it, and to if it's like the boss that would be the highest person in the room, then I would just not accept it and then think about my further involvement in this company. If it's a boss that's like there's somebody above him, I would not accept it and then bring it up with HR. So that way nobody else has to go through the same thing, because people like that just seem like they don't get the hint. That would be my thought.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good food for
Interesting.
thought. Ant 034. It's yours.
Yeah.
Better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, as I was saying, I actually work in human resources. And obviously, anything that is done like that can lead to so many discrimination claims, basically sexual discrimination claims. And managers should never act in that particular way. In fact, it's not even worth explaining. The simple fact is, it's just totally unacceptable. There's no other reason for it, because of the sexual discrimination claims that can arise. It's so no, simple as that.
Great.
Nothing
Thank
else
you.
to say.
Awesome. We're going to go to now Mr. Bulldog. Megaphone is yours. Feel free to speak or pass.
I'm just going to pass on this one, to be honest. I'm not sure what to think of it too much.
All good. All good.
So yeah.
Next we have is Mike, another community member. Welcome, Mike. You can feel free to speak or pass. All right, let's move to Carlos Funches Gonzalez. Megaphone is yours. Speak or pass? Pass. Okay. Let's go to Elm. Ali, am I still around? Can everyone hear me? Things just got super quiet. All right. Megaphone is yours, Almouches. Feel free to speak or pass.
But I did pass. I didn't raise my hand. Pass.
No, it's anybody that's on the couch. I give them the option to speak or pass, as I can see who would like to get involved in discussion.
Sorry, but okay, pass.
Passing is part of the discussion anyway, so it's all right. All right, let's go to JVB. Got 3 pages to go through. All right, megaphone is yours.
Thanks. I guess, again, I'm just glad that somebody made up a rule, and that rule is you take the gift, like whether the person is a narcissist and bought something they would like, or like you had said in the previous question, if they had bought something just to show off their, status. This looks like a really inappropriate power move by a boss. But that rule of you take it and you say thank you. So I'm glad that there's a thing to take it there. And then I think the issue that the H&R man was talking about, that it's totally inappropriate, it's provocative, and basically a power trip by this boss, and insensitivity. I would then deal with it after I had said thank you very much and taken the gift, because there's that, just a rule to do that just simplifies all that thought process that I would put on it about it being subjective. Is it this? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Did they do it for them? Did they do it for me? Did they do it for me because it stops all that brain spiraling I do about it. But man, I would be upset if that happened, and I would bring it to HR, and it would certainly inform me more about the boss. And then, just take that thing aside. Okay, gave me some underwear. Now I know so much more about this boss, and I know what to look out for and what to report. Yeah. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. To those who've just joined, welcome to the Social Dilemma. Who's behind the couch? I know 10 of you have just joined. Basically, we present a social dilemma, and then if you're on the couch, you'll get a chance to speak or pass. If you're not on the couch, you can raise your hand, which is on the bottom right-hand corner, and then we can hear your thoughts. So let's move to Lemon Tech. Megaphone is yours.
Can you hear me well?
Absolutely.
Nice. I think if it were like lingerie towards gifted towards a woman might be different, but for me, jockeys, I don't mind it. Not gonna read into it too much. I think if it's stylish and it suits me, and it fits me, I'd actually appreciate it. First of all, I like gifts that sort of surprise me. It make me think like, oh, that okay. But also it's also I like gifts that are more that serve a purpose better than paperweight, right? Sometimes you get gifts that you don't know what to do with. At least this one can be used. Yeah, that's
absolutely. And even getting a gift from a boss is a rare occurrence. Let's go to Dr. Sam.
Thank you, Timon. I have very similar thought process to Lemon Tech. It would depend on where the gift is coming from. So if it is a pair of jockeys from a male boss who is my senior, I don't think I would be offended. I might turn it into a joke and say for him, for example, why did you buy me such a small pair? So, I'd see the humorous side of it. I think that if it was a female boss, I would be, I wouldn't say offended, but I'd be extremely concerned about the motive for giving me jockeys. Is it, and one mustn't jump to the conclusion that is a sexual thing. It might be an insult. It might be a derogatory insult that is coming from the female boss. Okay, and like, of course, Anthony mentioned, I've done HR also most of my life, purely because of my position in our companies. If a male boss gave a female employee a lingerie, I think that female should take great exception to it, because that is a sexual approach or a sexual encounter.
Absolutely.
That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if my boss was a male and bought lingerie for my wife or my girlfriend, I think I would be highly offended as well.
As should she.
Yes. All right, let's go to B Fern. B Fern, you have the right to speak or pass. Megaphone is yours. No? Okay, let's go to Mama K. Mama K, just 1 second. I just got to go through 4 pages of people now. All right. Feel free to speak or pass. No! Okay, all
It's
right.
a
That was
pass.
emphatic. All
Okay.
right. Then we have Wolfie Z. Welcome and hello. You have the opportunity to speak or pass. Megaphone is yours.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, actually I came new here. I was just interested about the discussion you're talking about. Even I was just thinking if the boss a male gifted me as a boxer, right? If I'm from Dubai, so excuse me for my language. I'm an Arabic speaker.
Don't
So
worry.
jokies mean like a boxer underwear, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Correct, yes.
Correct.
Okay. As Dr. Sam mentioned, I don't know if Dr. Sam or somebody else, he will take it as like a joke because from your boss and he's a male. You know, guys between each other, they do sometimes fun, especially if the boxers have some funny things on it. So it's not a big issue. As mentioned, if your boss a girl, which actually my boss a girl, but she never gifted me this kind of stuff. To be just for your info, issue. I will consider it as I will have a concern why she did that. Does she have some tensions of sexual, or as you said, she's making fun of me? So it's a little bit will be an awkward situation from a girl to a boy, especially in employee situation in firm companies. You can accept this from your girlfriend or from your wife. It's okay. But different people, I guess it's awkward situation.
Awesome.
So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Wolfie Z. Then we have
Thank you.
Daddy. Feel free to speak or pass. Daddy?
Oh, I'm good.
Are you good?
I'm just listening.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
This is the second discussion for the day, and it's the final one, and then we'll open up. Then, who raised their hand? Tripote Lakay. Megaphone is yours. All right, so I don't think you're here anymore. Let's go to Ant. Oh, no, wait. All right, before we go to you, Ant, let's just go to Ali. Ali, what would you do?
Short and sweet. I would say thank you very much. Thank you, but no thanks. Can we mute that?
Yeah, we can mute that. I don't know where it's coming from. Oh, it's Tripote. I thought that was you, Ali. All right, carry on.
No. Yeah. Short and sweet. I would tell my boss, thank you very much. Thank you, but no thanks. I would really get offended because they should know me by now, and that would be such an inappropriate gift, making me feel really uncomfortable. So I would definitely say thank you, but no thank you, and definitely give it back on the spot, right there and then.
Right. Okay. As I speak for myself, I would accept it instantly if they were jockeys. I wouldn't take it sexually or anything. And if they were guest jockeys, I would be even more happy. But once again, you've got to read the situation in the room. And if they make it uncomfortable, then I would be more cautious as to what happens in the future rather than the day of a situation that I could have read wrong. For example, what if there was a Black Friday special and they thought, let me get a whole bunch of jockeys for my employees? Am I the only employee that's getting jockeys? But then, where you might agree, where it might be acceptable, is what if the person worked at a strip club? What if they worked at a lingerie store or worked at an erotic store? Then it would be a common form of a gift to give. And what if they've already spoken about it before, of underwear that they've always wanted? So once again, I would read the situation. I would see if, it depends on the level of the closeness you have with your boss or not. It's funny how in this discussion we haven't really brought up the sexuality aspect of it, because lingerie is obviously seen more sexy and uncomfortable rather than jockeys, which I don't find sexual. But then again, it's a subjective thing, and we had Dr. Sam and we had Ant, who's in public relations, who says it's actually, I would say, or they would say, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but immorally wrong to give that type of gift. But anyway, tables opened now. I would accept it because I don't take things very seriously, and I would give it a couple of days to see what others have to say. So raise your hand and let's discuss. Ant.
Yeah, hi. I don't think you can even accept the gift. I think there needs to, when we're going on to a different type of subject now, and I think like Dr. Sam will echo what I'm saying. There has to be a strict policy, a company policy, with what is and isn't acceptable. And I think we alluded it to the previous question. Underwear is a personal thing. I have been in HR for 15, 16 years. I have never ever known anybody give underwear as a gift, because it is, you quite rightly said, morally inappropriate. There has to be a company policy about the do's and don'ts. But just to turn it around a little bit, okay, I actually dealt with a case. Now, tell me which you think is more wrong, giving underwear or giving an employee a hug. Which do you think is more wrong? Do you think that it's more inappropriate for a manager to give an employee, a female employee, a hug, a cuddle? Or would you think that giving underwear is more inappropriate?
Let's do a vote. Let's do a vote, Ant.
Yeah.
So
which is more wrong, giving an employee a hug or giving underwear? Which is morally wrong?
So would you give?
For me, definitely underwear.
Would you give your employees... Sorry, so are you saying, would you accept a hug from your boss? Or would you accept underwear from a boss? Is that the question?
The reason I say that, Tim, is because I had a case where a female employee came to me because she was upset that her manager had given her a hug. She was upset about something, and the manager went up to her and put his arms around her during work time. We ended up having to go down the disciplinary process with him because he was a manager. He is supposed to lead by example, and there are things that you do and don't. Now, there was a bit of an underlying issue. It turned out they were partners, and they'd split up and all sorts of bits and pieces, so don't just take it on face value. But the fact is that I understood why he did what he did, but as from an HR point of view, I had to say to this manager, that is a no-go. You are a manager, she is the employee. You do not go into basically giving people a hug, because that is inappropriate conduct, it's inappropriate behaviour, and it could lead to a sexual harassment case, as is this could be. Why would a manager give a female employee, we're talking female, but why would a manager give an employee a personal item, and why would that employee accept it? You know, this underwear is something extremely personal. It's a no-go. And in my country, and certainly with UK employment law, and why would that a lot of trouble, as would the company if they didn't act upon it, if a manager gave an employee underwear? There's a lot of serious consequences in our country under sexual harassment and grievances and things, discrimination, etc.
You've actually...
an employee should never accept it.
You've actually brought back a memory of mine before I knew about these company policies and all these things. But 8 years ago, it was the first year that I joined a company. And that year I received an award of something like the Best Spirit Award from my boss or something. and I accepted the award, and then I gave her a hug. It was the only time I ever gave her a hug, but it just felt right. Was that morally wrong that I did that, Ant? I'll give you the megaphone now. I saw you muted yourself, but I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
I think again, I think it's the circumstances. You've won an award. I think the circumstances on that, the underlying issue is that yes, you won an award. It was something, congratulations, etc. But even that, again, would, to some people, that would be inappropriate, because at the end of the day, and again, we're going slightly off piste here. In our country, anything that is deemed as unwanted physical or verbal attention is classed as harassment, okay, and it can lead to discrimination claims, etc. Okay, now at the end of the day, you won an award. That hug was probably welcomed, it was probably reciprocated, okay, but if I was to go up to one of my female employees and I was to give her a hug or anything like that, and potentially thinking about what I call the circle of trust, the familiarity and the relationship with that particular employee, it's definitely a no-go, okay, because it just leads to so many problems. And like I say, I think there needs to be strict guidelines, policies and procedures, and training. There has to be, managers need to be trained on what is the code of conduct. So physical contact is in the workplace, there's just no room for it. Why put yourself in that position? Why put yourself at risk by doing that in the first place? Not only for your own sake, but for the company's sake as well.
All right, awesome, thank you. If anyone has anything to say based on that, or if you would like to answer the discussion, please raise your hand now, because the table is opened. And while you're raising your hand, I just want to state that if you enjoyed the social dilemma and you want to join the moral dilemma on Fridays, you can join our VR Digital Citizens group on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll be sending out reminders. And also, this event is streamed live on Facebook, so please go to it, and then we'll accept you, and then you'll get reminders so you don't miss another event. Does anyone else have anything to say before we wrap it up? Ali, do you have any final thoughts?
Yes, I do. I actually think it also depends on the relationship you have with the particular people that you work with, how close you are with them, and how associated you've become with them. With some, I think they might be open to getting a hug if they're huggable and emotional, whereas others want their personal space or bubble respected. So I think it's also a matter of EQ and understanding a little bit of body language and the communication that you have with somebody, as to how you're gonna handle it and go about it.
And also how big is the corporation?
What do you guys think?
If it's about how big the corporation is. I mean, if there's hundreds of employees and your boss is giving special attention to certain employees, then you got to get some red flags, that are flying up in the air. But if it's we call it not a private company, an individual company or a partnership, where maybe there's 2 or 3 employees and you have a close relationship. So it all depends on the situation, depends on the companies. But if it's stated in the rules and the employer has stipulated those rules specifically, then they shouldn't breach the contract at all. Okay, so we have...
I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Can I get a show of hands? Which guys think that if they were to get jockeys or boxes as a gift, that it's quite a personal gift? Let's have a show of hands or emojis.
Sure, yeah. Give a round of emojis or raise your hand. All right. So looks like...
okay.
Okay. Majority.
And who wouldn't give much thought about it and say, okay, it doesn't matter, it's just another gift. Let's have another show.
That's
of emojis.
me. I'll accept those jockeys.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, no, interesting. So it's about a 50-50. Thank you. Okay.
It is, absolutely. All right. So no one else has anything to say. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be unmuting the audience, and you can feel free to join. Oh, JVB, megaphone is yours. Well,
Thank you. I just
Yes.
wanted to chime. Thanks. I just wanted to chime in my appreciation of Ant's laws, in that you know, with the times, it just shows, you know, there's a complaint that people are getting too Me Too-ish, and I am so grateful for the times changing. You know, I lost a one of my careers from being in a situation that was so inappropriate, so uncomfortable. It was such a boys' club. My sexuality was the butt of all the sexual jokes, and I would leave the room and go into the ladies' room just to get comfortable, just to be able to think clearly before I went back out into the room. And I got fired from that job. They said there was no chemistry between me and somebody who's actually very famous for being impossible, but it was, you know, my fault, according to them. So just to hear that the things have changed, that there's now in the business I'm in, that the women have just said these powerful men can't decide whether we work or not based on how giddy we are at their sexual advances or not. I just appreciate it, and I think it's really interesting that the times have changed so much, and it seems really established what Ant was sharing, and I just am very grateful.
Excellent. Yeah, we're very grateful to have Ant and Dr. Sam, who was here earlier, for this information, because it does make us think about these situations. And just so you know, on Fridays, if you look here, the moral dilemma is also something very similar, but we go through an extreme moral or ethical situation in which somebody has to make a difficult decision between two courses of action, and it does lead to legal implications most of the times. And today was an everyday situation, as JVB said, where you got to make a decision out of self-interest. And if you feel that you're in a toxic environment, get out. Relationships, get out. Businesses, get out. Save your soul, save yourself. All right.
Exactly.
Toggle mute all is off, so you can have a discussion. You can also join the Greek Taverna, which is in front. And thank you very much for joining. And we'll see you on Friday at the Moral Dilemma and the Social Dilemma.
Thank you all for joining. It's been lovely.
Thank you for having it.
Thank you, JVB.